Welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic pregame show. I'm your host, Leah Nelson, alongside Chris Williams. We're in the Wild Rose Casino studio, and it is finally conference football time. Chris, are you pumped or what?
Fired up, ready to go.
Fired up.
3-0, undefeated, top 20 Iowa State Cyclones. How could I be anything but fired up?
So pumped. But we'll talk more about Iowa State versus Houston right after we thank some of our lovely sponsors.
Let's do it.
I know I say this every week, but seriously, if you love good quality meat, you gotta go to Fairway. They have the best stuff. It's right in Ames. Grab it for your tailgate. All your friends and family will love you. Seriously, give it a try. I know Chris
Ames
and Aiden
everywhere. We got Fairways.
Yeah,
everywhere.
but like I'm talking, if you're gonna go get it for your tailgate, it's right in Ames.
Oh yeah. You got to stock up right there at that Fairway Meat Market in Ames. You got to put off the grocery shopping until you get there.
Yeah, and just get all the good quality meats, right?
Absolutely. I'm getting the meat sweats just thinking about it right now.
Good stuff. And then our friends over at Aer Lingus College Football Classic, Iowa State is taking on Kansas State in Dublin on August 23rd, 2025. So book your travel package now. It comes with hotel, breakfast, excursions. Might as well do it all. So you can get details at cyclones2ireland.com. That's cyclones2.com. Woo!
Let's get after it. Houston Cougars.
Yeah. What can we expect from Houston this weekend?
Well, they're going to play two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. Willie Fritz, their head coach, first-year head coach Willie Fritz, comes over from Tulane. Guy I have a lot of respect for, watching him build that program up. This is a team that is kind of trying to figure out its identity right now. They had a good win a couple weeks ago. They pounded Rice, who is right across. That's actually kind of like a rivalry there. And then they get trounced last week by Cincinnati after almost beating Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the deal. It's like I think Houston is. This is typical. Think back to Matt Campbell's first year at Iowa State. Quite similar, where the beginning of the year, you're like, man, they stink. Lost to Northern Iowa, got killed in the Cyhawk game, just destroyed in that game. But then by middle of the year, later in the year, it's like, okay, starting to see a little bit of an identity here. I think that's what Houston will be this year. I'd rather play them now than in November.
Right.
But the two quarterback thing is just interesting because it's like, how do you prepare for it? Donovan Smith, the veteran, Iowa State has seen him before when he played at Texas Tech. He actually beat Iowa State and Brock Purdy and Breece Hall and that whole group in 2021. And then there's this other kid, Zion Chris is his name. He is a sophomore. He is more of a runner, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a ton of him, but he's only 5 of 19. That's 40% completion percentage, which is not very good. Donovan Smith, the old Texas Tech Red Raider, used to be more of a runner than he is now. He has not been very good this year. 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So this is a team where, rightfully so, Iowa State is a 2-touchdown favorite in this game. If you look at it on paper, you're very confident in Iowa State coming out with the win here. However, Leah, as you know, when you go on the road and you are playing your first conference game away from home, anything can happen, and there's upsets every week in college football. So Iowa State's got to be on high alert for that.
Yeah, what do you want to see specifically from Iowa State this Saturday?
Well, if they play a clean football game, Iowa State will win because Iowa State's just better. Like, this is a veteran team. This is an established culture. Matt Campbell's been there for 9 years. This is year 1 for Willie Fritz. Iowa State has better players across the board. What gets you in trouble in these games is if you get the turnover bug, right? If you do stuff to, give your opposition an advantage. And that would be my what not to do as far as that. Don't give them any freebies. Establish your dominance early. And if you do that, Iowa State wins the football game. The thing I want to see from Iowa State is, 2 things. One, more development from the defense. They've been awesome. They're going to get tested a little bit more this week and then much more next week as far as the second level goes. We'll see. How do these 2 quarterbacks, Smith and Chris, compare to the Arkansas State guys last week? It all should be better in theory, because you're going from a Sun Belt team to a Big 12 team, but maybe not. That's not always the case. So, I'll keep harping on my guys. The young linebackers have just been phenomenal for Iowa State. They're going to get tested a little bit more this week. But most importantly, I want to see Rocco Beck put together 4 really good quarters. Incredible quarterback. Iowa State may have the best quarterback of the Big 12. I think Rocco, to a man, would tell you he hasn't started games off well this year. He's missed a lot of throws, specifically in the first quarter. It may not matter on Saturday night at Houston, but down the stretch, when these games start getting bigger and bigger, Rocco's going to need to be on earlier, and he's done a great job of recovering. But I think Rocco would sit here and tell us, yeah, I haven't played my best football yet, and that's good. I'm happy about it. I don't want him playing his best football in the middle of September. I want him doing it in October. Well, October is going to be here next week. So, yeah, I'll challenge Rocco this week, and I don't think I'm going out on a limb doing that. I think he knows he can be better. He's been very good, not criticizing him, but I'm excited because I think that there's like a whole other level to his game that we've yet to see for 4 straight quarters.
Yeah. Matt Campbell earlier mentioned that road teams went 1-7 last week in the 8 games that involved Big 12 conference teams. So do you think this game being in Houston could affect the way Iowa State plays? It's hard to play away.
Yeah, it is. And Matt, and I think anyone will tell you, when you're the road team, you'd rather play earlier in the day. Like there's something about sitting around. You're shaking your head because there's something about sitting around a hotel for, most of the day that can get you're watching other games. Like you can kind of get in your own head. Now, I think Iowa State's a mature enough team where it shouldn't be a problem. The one thing I would guard Iowa State against, this will be the worst atmosphere it's played in all year. It's hard in some of these stadiums, and I hope it's not. I hope Houston will support its team, and there'll be a lot of Iowa State fans there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would challenge to say that there'll be
more.
I don't know about more, but I think they'll compete with them. I honestly do. I think they'll be loud. Huge. I know a lot of people taking that direct flight from Des Moines to Houston this weekend. So, but this isn't like playing in Iowa City. This isn't like playing in Jack Trice Stadium. This is a 1-3 Houston team that you're in a pro sports town. They just don't have as big. They have a fan base, but it's not as engaged a one. So, like, there's a letdown factor when you come out and you're in front of 30,000 people as opposed to 60.
What they're used to, yeah.
So that would be my only hesitation as far as that goes. But again, like I seem to believe more often than not, if you have a pretty good culture and your guys aren't out being idiots the night before and doing all that, it shouldn't be a problem.
So you mentioned this before, but so do you think this being the first game, Big 12 nerves, do you think that's going to be a problem?
No, I don't, because I think the Iowa game gets that out of the way.
I think so too. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like that's no longer a thing. Week 1 is always its own monster.
Yep.
Right. Like how do you deal with that? It's first time out there, new guys playing, and then the Iowa game. In my opinion, like there's 2 seasons. And then there's after the Iowa game, right?
Yep.
Like,
yes.
Just what we turn it into in this state, and I think that you're kind of just there, and it really played out perfect last week. Because last week was like a second season opener, and now you get to go with the Big 12. So no, I don't foresee that being a problem with this team. I want to thank a couple more sponsors, our friends at the McFarland Clinic, and specifically Dr. Greenwald and Dr. Wormy. Dr. Wormy came and hung out with me at my camper on Friday night last week. Yeah, it was great to see him. Longtime orthopedic surgeons on the sidelines with Iowa State football, and really good friends of mine. I appreciate them. Dr. Wormy's my doctor too. He takes care of my shoulder. They do a great job. Appreciate them. And then my buddies Judd and Joe over at Centurion Stone of Iowa. Stone fireplaces, stone patios, they do it all. Centurion Stone of Iowa, they got showrooms in Omaha and here in Des Moines. And tell them I sent you. These guys do a phenomenal job. I know like their entire staff over there. B. Laz, Stacy, Nate Dogg. We got all sorts of my friends over there. This is a great locally owned business that I couldn't recommend any more than I do. All right, Leah, what else you got for me? Let's go. Cyclones in Houston. I'm fired up.
So this has been circulating, on the interweb. and Twitter and whatnot. But last time the Cyclones went 3-0, they only won one conference game. I know. I have to bring it up. Everyone's talking about it.
You're supposed to be the optimistic one.
Well, I'm being optimistic because we're going to talk about it and like shove it out of the way.
You're just presenting the facts.
Right, exactly. I'm doing the job.
You're a reporter now.
Thank you. So how important is this win for the rest of the season?
I'm a big fan of checking off boxes, right? And like doing things that nobody else has done. And Iowa State hasn't gone 4-0 since the year 2000.
That's when I was
born. and a collective puke amongst the Cyclone Nation from all of us old people.
Wow, that's awesome.
I graduated high school 3 years after you were born. Okay.
Wow.
No, like for real, they haven't gone 4-0 since 2000. Yeah, you're right. The last time they beat Iowa specifically, this is a different team. This is a different time.
1000%.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, and you as an athlete, I guess, I hate it when media, guys like me, go, well, this team this school has lost 15 of the last 20 times they've played there. What's like you weren't even born.
Right.
What are you talking about? Like Jalen Noel he wasn't even, how old was Jalen Noel in the year 2000, right? Like, so I don't buy into that because that team, it was completely, they were in a complete transition year. Purdy and all those guys are gone, and you're really rebuilding to what the program is now. So that would have been like Brock Purdy's freshman year, if like on the new rebound of Iowa State football. Completely different. I don't buy it. I think this is at worst right now, the fourth or fifth best team in the Big 12. I think at best, Iowa State's the best team in the league. And Vegas power ratings back me up on that. I did a bunch of research on them, and they've got Iowa State, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Utah are still all just kind of right there together as far as how that's why I like Las Vegas. It's not a gambling thing. They don't have a dog in the fight. They're just there to make money. And they will tell you what they think without any subjectivity at all. And they got Iowa State right there. So, and I could promise you that team that you're referencing was not right there. That was a team that, really, really struggled offensively. And I think I could make an argument that this might end up being the best offensive team that we've ever seen at Iowa State. So, yeah, I'm going to debunk that right now.
Love that. See, look at you being so positive.
Just being super positive today. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And finally, there's already so much hype building around this Baylor game. I know you've been chatting about it. Whiteout, there's going to be fireworks or something, like all this fun stuff.
It's like a drone. Like a drone's going to be like doing crazy stuff.
Some light show probably. That's the new thing right now. So, yeah.
Do you remember when they would do the holograms? Like the hologram Tupac? Did you ever see that? Do you even know who Tupac is?
Yes, okay. I do.
Yeah, but no, like, that was like that was the big the cat's meow there for a while. These holograms, they put them up on stage and they'd start dancing around these dead people.
Oh.
Yeah. Now we got drones.
I don't know if I like that. I know what you're talking about.
The drones terrify me because do we know that they're ours?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Don't conspiracy theories all over.
Just throwing that out there.
But anywho, how does Iowa State stay focused on the game ahead of them and not jump into,
I'll tell you how. I'm doing post game with Colin Newell
okay.
on Saturday, and I start talking about, well, they haven't gone 4-0 since this, and then they haven't go 5-0 since this. It's like, I'm sorry for the podcast audience. It's like the third time I've told this story because it's so true, though. I thought Colin was like, he was repulsed by my analysis. He was absolutely repulsed by it because he's such a Campbell guy, like the whole don't look ahead to anything. He was so pissed off that I would speak that into the universe. You guys, they've been showing this team that Oklahoma game. They almost won in Norman. Look, that's all they've been showing this team for 6 days now. They ain't looking ahead to anybody. I guarantee if Iowa State loses the game, it's because they did something stupid multiple times or they got beat. It ain't going to be because they're looking ahead to Baylor.
Yep.
I'll shut that down right now.
But man, am I excited for Baylor. I'm going.
Yeah, and this is another thing this one pet peeve I have about fans. We can talk about it. That's the cool thing about doing what we do. We can talk about it, and it doesn't impact the players. And if it does, then they're not doing their job, and that's not my problem. Matt Campbell needs to get a better read on that, right? So,
Period.
That's always how I respond to that. I can say whatever I want. I'm a talking head.
I wouldn't say you could say whatever you want.
Yeah, well, within reason, of course.
Right.
Of course. Yeah, but like I think I like the history of these things,
Yes,
right? Like
yeah,
to me, that is a big deal. If you can start 4-0 and an Iowa State team hasn't done that in 24 years,
it's fun talking about.
That should be celebrated
Right.
by everybody, by the players, by the fans, by everybody. And to me, it's a critical storyline going into this game because that would be a huge checkbox that Matt Campbell could knock off the old list.
Yep, agreed. Perfect. What's your score prediction?
Well, I think Houston will have a really hard time sustaining drives against Iowa State. I think that Iowa State, I don't know, Houston's defense isn't bad. It's not terrible. Let's go Iowa State 27-13. 27-10, 27-13, right in that range. I think this will be a deal too. You know, where last week I was wrong about this.
Me too. I was way wrong.
Mm-hmm. I was wrong. I didn't think Iowa State would keep its foot on the gas the way that it did. Being that this is a conference game, what's coming up next week? I mean, if this snowball is going downhill in a hurry, I could see Iowa State putting up a lot of points, but something tells me that Houston's not going to play that way. That they're going to try and keep this thing on the ground, especially against Iowa State's defense and the way they play. Something tells me that this is a lower possession game, and that's why you could have a really efficient offense in a game like this and score 27 points. So, yeah, let's go 27-13, good guys. What about you? Where are you at?
I got 31-14 Iowa State.
We're right there.
Yep.
We're right there together.
Similar.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom. Cyclones 4-0. And you said you're going next week?
It's the Baylor game. I'm so excited. It's the first game of the season. I'm going to.
Wow.
I know. And I'm actually going in. I'm not just tailgating. So you'll hear me. You'll hear me. I'll be cheering so loud.
Congratulate. Well, we'll miss you at halftime and post game, but I think we'll get by.
Yeah. Oh. All right. I'm going to juicy wiggle like I've never juicy wiggled before. But yeah, I also won't be on this weekend. I'm out of town.
Oh, bummer.
So I know I'm nervous because we're 3-0 with me on the.
Where are you going? Do you got like a wedding or something, like one of those fall weddings? Oh, you don't have to tell us, I guess.
No, it's fine. I'm going to Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a God's country up there with my Minnesota Vikings. So
I know. Enjoy. That's where I'm going.
Enjoy. All right, Leah, you're the best. Thanks, Dave.
You're the best. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Fairway, Aer Lingus College Football Classic, Centurion Stone, and McFarland Clinic. You guys rock. See you. Bye.